And now we're going to put the lead screw back in. So I made sure that I remembered which way to orientate the nut. There's some writing on the side here, so that kind of goes to the left. Now I need to get my parts. What I did is I stored them on this screwdriver in the order that they came off. Alright, so this is the ball bearings, the races, and then we got this one. So I'll put these back on here just in case. So that's binding now. It's binding in this tube here. So that tells me that there's some chips or dirt in there that needs to come out. So take this and we'll just lay it right here and go get a wire brush. Using this Allen key to get a good grip on it to pull it through. Hopefully that did it. Clean this off, make sure there's no grit, dirt. Oop. There we go. The next thing we want to do is put our opposing bearing in. I'm gonna go clean these. I didn't clean these out yet, so reassembling everything, you want to make sure everything is absolutely clean, right? That's the purpose to doing this. So I'll be right back. All right, we got our bearings all cleaned up now, and they're feeling nice and smooth. Now we have a spacer that goes on next, and then a nut and a locking nut. I want to be careful not to drop this down into the abyss. And I'll tighten this once everything is reassembled. Alright, now this has the second portion of the screw. It's got the keyway for the telescoping portion of the the lead screw will go in here. It locates on that keyway. So I just want to clean the teeth one last time. Notice I'm sweeping away from the bearings, brushing away from the bearings. Now one thing I did is I unloosened these screws here on both sides, and I dropped the apron because there's a gear that meshes with this, okay, and it sits in front, so you have to rise up over it and drop the gear into place. Okay, we're in. I'm going to clean these threads a little better too. Looks like I missed some chips. Just priming it now. Throw some right in here. All right. Now, I'm going to put some oil right over in here, prime it up, because it needs to be lubricated up inside this keyway. Alright, now I need to get the cross slide. I'll be right back. Now I thoroughly cleaned this cross slide so it's free of chips as well. Yep, I knew I did that wrong. I gotta take this out. I need to slide it this way. Yeah, I've made that mistake before. It's good exercise. Now, before I go ahead and put this back in, I want to make sure that I engage this nut. I always seem to forget how to put this on. Alright, I gotta figure this one out. I had to take the two lock nuts out of that side. Let's show you. So we had to remove the lock nuts over here and allow the screw to come forward a little bit, and then I could slip the cross slide over and it mates up, because it's got to get under the lip. There's a lip this side, so the screw has to kind of go under it. So we're all located now. Now I can send this guy back. There. Now let's reinstall the bearings. Okay. Next comes our spacer, and then our two nuts. Our two nuts. Yeah, I just said that. Okay. Let's go get the gib lock, and the locking bolt for the nut. Well, here's the bolt right here. Clean out any debris inside the little oil hole. So this is just a regular a flat slot screwdriver with an Allen, so you could remove that without removing the whole oil, the whole bolt to oil it. All right, let me go get a screwdriver. So again, this is just a little set screw. It acts as a plug, so you remove it, you oil the nut, and then you just re-plug it. Now you'll find that sometimes you can loosen this, and it allows the nut to move around a little bit, and you know, you kind of, I mean, because it could be canted a little bit this way or that way, and you know, it causes some slight binding. So you loosen it and you make sure that the screw tracks correctly, and then you snug it back up. So you know what, I'll put this in here loosely and I'll come back to this. Alright, let's put in our gib. So we're going to put a little bit of oil on the gib. Nice. Now I gotta bring this back out to put the gib screw in there, the locking screw. So we'll return to that soon. And again, I want to put a little bit more, just a little tad of oil in there. Some oil in here, down into the bearing. Goes in nice. Positive stop. Now we use an 1.25" wrench to tighten down the bushing, and you're just giving it a snug right up to 12 o'clock. Now I'm going to grease this with a little bit of synthetic grease inside these gears. This will work its way around. Okay. I need to lift that up like that. Got a little binding there. It's binding on something. See? It spins free, but then stops. Yeah, the screw turns fine. Screw turns real good. Right, that's turning smooth. Alright, let's try it again. Success. Here's the locking set screws. This one is going in very tight. I wound up taking the dial off, and I'm checking, the movement of this, and it spins freely. There's no binding or nothing. So something told me that the dial was acting funny. So what I did was I chased the threads to get that set screw to go down there a little bit nicer. So I'm just backing it out now. I didn't like the way that set screw was binding up like that. Not sure why it was doing it, but there was some chips that came out of here, so it was a very tightly threaded hole. Alright, I'm gonna put the set screw in. I just chased this one as well, and you know, you could see when you chase the threads, you know, they just go right in. They just spin right in, and they just keep going. So that's good. That will make adjusting this way easier, because it just was binding up. And now I'm going to put one of the little dimples right up at 12 o'clock so I can align my set screw as close as possible. Let's try that one. See, now that this is the threads have been chased and this screw spins freely, I can pull back on this dial, and as I turn it, it sucks it right into sucks it right in. And now do the same with the other one, kind of get like a happy medium, an adjustment. And there's still some funkiness. Let's see how that works. This is challenging, I'll say that. Alright, that's spinning nice. Hopefully that did it. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Alright, I think that's going to be it. There's like no slot left in this screw. I'm gonna chuck this up in the mill, not today, but I'm gonna chuck this up in the mill and bring that slot a little deeper. Alright, I think now that the screw is tracking nice, I could tighten it just a little bit, just snugged, and then run your screw front to back. Make sure it's tracking good. I think that's good. Load it up with a little more oil. And then cap it. Put a little plug in. It too is snug. Alright. Alright, the next thing up will be the compound. Now the trick to this is, you'll see the way, you see that little round section is angled, right? There are accompanying little binders in here, and they're at an angle, so they have to be oriented correctly, or else you won't get the right fit. So you push them up and in. Give this a check. Make sure there's no chips or dirt. Clean. What you can do is put a little bit of oil. Like so. And drop her in. Disperse the oil around. And I screw these binders in pretty fast, so it kind of sets right in there. There we go. That's good. Let's just snug it up. Test it out. Good. Now I'm going to bring this back out and set it up 29.5 degrees. I never liked the design of South Bend's binders here, dude. Allen keys. I wish there were a handle, and I know some people have done that. 20, 30, 29.5. What am I saying? God, I wish my eyes were better. Alright. Next comes the connecting bar. Which is this guy. A lot of people don't know that that's what it's called, but it's called a connecting bar. Not a cover or something else. Now, one of the things that I do is I keep this connecting bar a little on the loose side. So I'll bring it to tight, and I'll literally just break the nuts, the bolts, just like that. Because what happens is if I tighten this, it lifts up and it causes a little binding. My suspicion is that this connecting bar didn't come with this machine. It was an aftermarket or a replacement, because when you get it from, when these came with the from the factory, there's some setup involved in putting a taper on, and this has to be completely parallel with the ways, and you might have to do a little grinding to get it perfect. So a future project. And lastly, my new chip guard. Had I had this from the beginning, I wouldn't be cleaning this out today. But I was lucky to find this on eBay, and I don't know if it's an original South Bend part. It's how it was marketed. And there we go. There you have it. Oh, I'm not finished. I have a little oil plug here. Let me get that. tiniest little plug. Got to make sure that's below the surface of this, or else it'll get hung up. And then lastly, we want to tighten up our gib lock. Just snug it up. Boom. Alright, my dial spins free. My handle turns nice. Old towels, what a godsend. They clean the oil off really nice. You could see there's a gap, and what that is I left the springs out of here because the springs would push this tight. Okay, so it shakes. So I'm gonna, one day I'm gonna get myself one of the C washers, the bent washers, to kind of put a little bit of pressure on here, or I'm just gonna machine a thin shim, a 10,000th shim. Hardened washer or something like that. But really what I'm happy about is this dial spins freely now, and it doesn't influence the my position of the screw. And that was a big deal because I would turn it and it would mess me up constantly. Put the little binder in here. Now this is a dial lock. So you establish your 0 and you turn it. And the idea is that your dial won't move. Yep, it does a good job. This is just a machine screw. It had a plastic little thumb thing on here, so I'm going to make another one and knurl it. A little South Bend maintenance. We're going to put the tool post on this and get ready to shoot the next video. Well, that's it, guys. Thanks a lot. I appreciate you watching. This was an interesting exercise in cleanliness and chip control. What had happened was I was using my inserts for the first time, and it was spraying chips that I've never seen before. That I've never gotten before on this machine. I'm used to curlies, and these were totally different carbide type chips. So they got deep inside that screw, and I didn't have the screw protected well, so we got the guard on it, and everything seems to be good. So we'll see how it pans out in the future. So thanks for watching again. I appreciate it, and until the next time, we'll see you. Thanks.